who's verified, who needs attention, who's self-pay, whatever it might be, so that you can take action on it more proactively. And even if you have patients that are same-day walk-ins.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle, and welcome back to another episode of the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast. And today we have Jeff from RevenueWell on. Jeff, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Kyle.
Hey, Jeff, it's been a while since we last spoke, and, I wanted to really bring the dental insurance product that RevenueWell just launched just to our audience so they can get more familiar with it and we can find out a little bit more about how it works. So, Jeff, just want to kind of talk a little bit about the insurance product of RevenueWell. How does it work? How practices can use it. Just give us a little bit of information on it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so RevenueWell's insurance verification has the ability to read the schedule 3 days in advance of patients' upcoming appointments, so that when you log in to start your day, you can see in real time, who's verified, who needs attention, who's self-pay, whatever it might be, so that you can take action on it more proactively. And even if you have patients that are same-day walk-ins or emergency appointments, you'll be able to run verification within a minute. You get that information back in real time practically, and that provides the practice with a full detailed summary of what that patient's benefits and their coverage looks like, which is great. And
Cool.
it's given in like a standardized PDF so that you can actually see, even though you're going across different carriers, you have consistency of the content that's being submitted back to the practice, which is great.
Cool. So, all right. So does this work alongside of RevenueWell's platform? Like, how does it work exactly?
Yeah, it works alongside RevenueWell's platform. In fact, there is a product that allows you to kind of, if you don't want to switch everything over to patient engagement and all the recalls and things like that, there's a standalone option for it as well, which is great. So it's available both as an add-on and as a very simple standalone solution, which does include some basic messaging and some form right back.
Yeah, that's cool because, if I wanted to just add that, maybe I'm comfortable with some type of patient engagement software I'm already using, I would be able to add this on as a separate standalone product, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So, in terms of like how practices are using this, right? Are practices using this on a daily basis for verifying insurances of all their patients? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, so it works using two really channels of verification methods. One channel is that we use clearinghouses. So we have access to 3 clearinghouses that will verify patients' information, again, almost in real time, as well as direct access through the carrier login portal as well. So when you go to set up insurance verification with RevenueWell, we will highlight to you the percentage of coverage of that carrier of your patient base. So you can kind of, triage and spend time setting up your carrier portal access through RevenueWell in the most efficient and effective way possible.
Got it. And is it working with like all PPO dental plans out there, or are there like a select few?
Yeah, there's a variety of different combinations, but we have a very wide coverage of your big names out there, your Deltas, your Cignas, your MetLifes, as well as some of the other ones. And we just supplement automatically, where are we pulling the data from, so the practice doesn't have to think twice about it.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Dental insurance verification is like one of those things, right? Where you can have one person in the office that's just spending so much time on doing insurance verifications that it eats up like a real big chunk of the day. It's always hard to like kind of stay consistent and stay on top of all these verifications because you never know when a plan is going to terminate, with one of your patients, and then all hell breaks loose, and you got to send a bill because the insurance was never verified or the plan terminated. So, I guess this is like a tool that we can use on a daily basis really that's just much more like time efficient.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a recent study done. I believe it was by the Colorado Dental Association that said it took about an average of 20 to 25 minutes per patient to verify insurance because you're juggling
Wow.
between carrier logins, you're calling to verify that information. You're forgetting your password, you're on hold. So and then you're taking all the data and you're either getting a copy of all that back and then you're scanning it in and uploading that information into your practice management software. Whereas with RevenueWell, we automatically verify that, and you have the option to auto sync that PDF that we provide your practice with in real time. And again, if patients are marked needs attention or information missing, we'll tell you specifically what's missing so that you can submit that information back. And then again, within a matter of minutes, have that information that you need so that you can provide the appropriate estimations to those patients.
Okay, so let me just make sure I have this right. So if we have a patient who is missing certain details in our practice management software,
Mm-hmm.
then RevenueWell can send out a request to fill those gaps.
Correct. Yeah. Now, depending on the insurance and what information is missing and kind of what the gaps are, we'll highlight to you what information is missing, or we'll at the very least identify that information is missing and to review that patient information again and just kind of double check everything to make sure everything is lining up.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
Awesome.
And what about percentages? So like when an office member calls sorry, when a staff member calls, to call oh my God. When a staff member calls an insurance company to verify, right? One, they're on hold for I don't know how long. And then, two, they have to go through like percentage, right? They have to go through preventative, basic, major, get the deductible. Is all that stuff included on the insurance verification?
Yeah, the information that the carrier would typically give you over the phone or through the carrier portals is the same information that we're going to give back. And again, every carrier is going to be different, so it's going to be different between the different carriers, but we'll provide you with a comprehensive breakdown and full summary of what they're eligible for based on the information that you provide and that and what the carrier actually is allowed to give back to us.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that because I've had team members in the past where, they'll call the insurance company and, again, they're on hold for super long time. And then, maybe they miss one thing, right? They miss one thing. And I'll say like, what's the percentage on this? Oh, I didn't get it. Or, is this covered under the plan? Oh, I didn't ask. Well, you're gonna have to call them all over again. So, I like that you guys have that ability to really fill in the gaps, right? Because it's time saving, and for me, it's like when I need that information, I need it now, right? I need it now.
Yep. Well, that's what's great. That verification can be ran on demand when you need it. And some of the, what's great about the platform is on the back end is there's some AI, right? It's common buzzword in dentistry right now, but there's some AI
Yeah,
that really understands that if Jeffrey is in your system as Jeffrey, but the insurance company has it as Jeff, well, some of that data that's missing is often spit back with some other companies and solutions out there where it's like, oh, it's not matching up, so retry it again. Whereas we take into account that Jeffrey and Jeff might actually be one and the same as long as other data sets match up correctly. We're able to pull in both primary and secondary insurance coverage from that.
that's cool. Yeah, that's cool, man. And so, like, what's been the like feedback you guys are getting from offices that are using it?
Response time has been great. With how much data we're able to pull and give back to the practice management system and to the practice, of course. The accuracy of the data has been surprisingly much higher than we initially were aiming for in terms of the percentage of coverage and what we're getting back, and the ability to sync that integration back and forth between us and the practice management software, getting that PDF, having an inconsistent save source every time it's submitted to the office. It seems to be a really big selling point for us.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Well, this is it's fairly new. I know it's a fairly launch on your guys' end, right?
Yeah, it's been in the market available now for, I want to say, going into 3 months as of
3 months.
recording this webinar.
Yep.
And we actually have two versions of the product. Version one has just the EDI data. So the carrier portal, I'm sorry, the clearinghouse information. And then you have the carrier portal and the clearinghouses information as well. So there's actually two subscriptions and two products that you can choose between just to, if you want to get started or if you want to experiment with it, you have a lot of flexibility in terms of not price point, but how is it going to work for your practice and what makes the most sense for you.
Gotcha. So, like, if a practice wants to sign up for it, but they're not currently using RevenueWell, they can just kind of reach out and say, "Hey, look, we'd like to try out your insurance product."
Yeah, essentially we paired up with one of our starter solutions that gives us access to the database. It also gives the practice the ability to at least, kind of send messages and text messages. So you're having some communication correspondence without having to jump between two different platforms to text patients. And then again, it's available as an add-on to our marketing
Got it.
platform.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Yeah, insurance verification is just one of those things, man. It just takes up so much time. And it's nice to see, like, automation being put in place, right? There's a lot of companies out there that, they offer different packages, but sometimes it gets very costly for the office. And that's why in most cases a dentist will say, you know what, I'll just pay a person to do this in the office instead of outsourcing it. What I've seen is some of these companies that are doing this or offering the service are like packaging it with like submitting e-claims as well. And then when you really sign up for it, you get a big bill at the end of the month. So, I could see how this would be much more cost effective in terms of like submitting for verification. It shouldn't be an all day job for someone. I really feel that way. It should be something that should be automated, especially in the day and times that we're living in.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, depending on the vendor, to your point, there's, who's doing it on the other line. Are they using technology? Is it somebody else that's manually calling and confirming that information with these carriers? Here we can kind of cut out the middleman. It's automation that you can trust as long as we set up your information correctly. You have the right information for your patients in the practice management system. You're going to get great information back from us.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool, man. So I'm excited to hear about this new product, and I know we spoke about this a couple months ago when you guys were getting ready to launch it, and I'm glad it's really working out for you guys. So I'm happy to get the word out, especially you guys are sponsors of our community, and so anything we can do to really showcase your dental insurance verification product is something that I feel that you guys can definitely benefit, and our audience as well. Because one of the other issues that's really big in dentistry right now is staff retention.
Yeah.
Staff retention or just hiring altogether. Like, it's like it's so hard for practices to find team members now. One that want to even show up for the interview, because I see
Yep.
that often in the group. And two, really to have them on board and stay on board. So sometimes what you'll do as a office manager is you get a new team member and then you train them, right? And you spend all this time training them, and then maybe they leave, or they're just not happy, or whatever it is, or they just don't show up for a day of work. So automating as much as we can in the practice, um, I can see how this can fill that gap or fill that need, and not really replace a person, right? Because we're not trying to replace people, but the reality is like we need to fill those gaps, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of where we're going with this.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we're really offering to the marketplace today is a feeling. It's a feeling of confidence. It's a feeling of hopefully reducing the stress that it comes to managing your job, and then you can actually looking forward to, that first patient on that Monday after being off for 3 days and being able to tackle those unexpected challenges that might occur. And having that tool set actually impacts, the patient experience as well. If I'm stressed, how do I not leave that stress at home all the time, right? I can hopefully, alleviate some of that stress by automating some of the things that you just don't want to do, so you can focus on the people that are in front of you, so you can deliver the best experience to them.
Yep. Yeah. Could have said it better myself. So Yeah, one other thing is I want to touch on is like, how much would this cost? What are the two packages and what are the
Yeah.
costs for a practice?
Yeah, of course. Now, pricing is going to vary based on, what you're signing up for, if you're adding it on, or if you're, just trying something out. But if you're an existing marketing platform customer and you want to add this solution on with both the carrier access as well as the EDI data, that'll be $249 per month if you want to go month to month, or $199 with a 1-year agreement. And if you just want access to the clearinghouse information, that'll be starting at $129 with month to month, and then there's different promotions that go down from there. But typically, if you sign a 1-year agreement, you're right around that $99 mark as well. So different
That's a
pricing,
great
different
that's a great
offices.
price. That's a great price, Jeff. Again, like when I compare it, because I don't think there's a lot of really options out there to compare it to, such as like standalone products. But when you compare it to some of the other products that are out there, um, cost, you guys win. Like, 199 per month for me to really be able to just dedicate more time to other things in the office
Yeah,
to me is like 100% worth it. But that's an amazing price point for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we know every dollar counts right now, and anywhere we can give back time is time well spent. So hopefully, we can find something that works well for all of your listeners. Depending on what their goals are, we can align with them and build them a solution that makes the most sense for them.
Cool. So Jeff, going back to let's just kind of rewind here a little bit. I just want to touch a little bit more on, you said a PDF, right? So how does it work exactly? We submit the request for the patient. We put in the member ID, I guess, right? Maybe the date of birth or something like that. And then it's going to verify on the back end. And how do we receive that PDF?
Yeah, so everything is set up really automatically. So as you're setting up your patient's insurance information in your practice management system, we'll submit that information over to the insurance companies via the clearinghouse or the carrier portals or both, um, using that specific data set. So, group provider number, the group number ID, member ID, all those, certain kind of attributes, as well as, date of birth, things like that. So we can match up the data set and pull that in. And again, if the data isn't matching up, or if we're not confident that the data will match up, we'll highlight to you what is missing so that you can take action on it, make the correction, and resubmit that verification, which at that time, on the schedule, you'll see, who's verified, who's not. And those that are verified, you have the option to automatically sync that PDF that we provide the office automatically into the appropriate save location. So Smart Docs, Document Center, images, whatever it might be, depending on the practice management system name. You have a lot of flexibility on how you want to use it.
Cool. All right. Jeff, so we're gonna kind of switch gears here, and I'd like you to share one productivity tip for dental office managers in our community.
Yeah, I think when it comes to looking at your schedule for the day, the week, the month, it's important to kind of look at your production for the day, that at the end of the day. So instead of pulling up the morning huddle report the day of, check it out the night before. Kind of see, what am I going to walk into the next day. Is there any actions that maybe you need to triage, so that if I need to prioritize something over another, I can do that going into the next day, instead of starting the next day and realizing, oh, I have X, Y, and Z. I have these scheduling gaps available. You can kind of start triaging that. So as you're closing out your day, take a quick look at the next day and see, do I have any missing gaps? Do I have, who's
Yeah.
unconfirmed,
Yep.
whose insurance is not verified? Am I missing information? Because again, we're pulling that data 3 days in advance. So we're going to give you a lot to see on that schedule, and you can view that all within RevenueWell. But even if you don't have us, check it out before you close your day out, to see what you're walking into the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, Jeff, because, I mean, you guys are the experts on automation here, right? So, this is
Right.
why I wanted to ask you that question. And, yeah, I mean, like, you definitely need to like have a view, right, of the days coming ahead. That's one of the things I've always tried to do myself. I'm not always 100% spot on with it, but that's a great productivity tip, because when you walk in the morning, sometimes you get things thrown at you. for example, I mean, I walk into the office and next thing I know, all of our computers are not working for the morning.
Right.
You know? And so now I have to like switch gears. I can't do a morning huddle. I have to now tend to the computers, contact the IT company and find out like, hey, what's going on? Why are our computers offline? So great productivity tip. And I thank you for sharing that, Jeff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So when you first walk into the day, you can pull up your RevenueWell appointment list application and actually see a lot of great information so that you can kind of get prepared for the day, for the week. Whether it's starting in the morning or ending your day, you can kind of take a quick look and see who's on your schedule, what their confirmation looks like, if they're self-pay, what's their insurance verification look like. So on the application, again, we pull this about three business days in advance, and this allows you to see in real time, what the status is of each of your patients that's on your schedule and what actions do you need to take. So again, we kind of pull this information 3 days in advance, and this is pulled directly from the carrier portals as well as cross-reference against 3 clearinghouses. This can be ran on demand. So if I need to make corrections or if I need to add a last-minute emergency appointment, I can add that patient and then run that verification through the carrier that I've already set up pretty easily.
So Jeff, I'm sorry I don't mean to jump in here, but one thing caught my attention on this, and that is care credit pre-approved.
Yeah. Talk to you a little bit about that. It's pretty exciting, right?
Tell us about that.
Yeah, for sure. So RevenueWell has an integration with Care Credit where you link up your Care Credit merchant ID, and that will show you who's on your schedule that is either a card holder or is pre-approved for Care Credit as well as the pre-approval amount. When you click on that application, when you click on the Care Credit pre-approval, you actually have the opportunity to run a application for Care Credit or submit that Care Credit link to the patient so they can complete their application. So you want to talk about case acceptance. Sometimes patients walk in, maybe it's been a while since their last visit, they're proposed a couple $1,000s in treatment plan. That pain doesn't really exist in their mouth right now. Maybe it's going to hurt in their wallet. So this is one option to help improve your case acceptance, is to know who's a cardholder member and who's pre-approved so that you can have confidence when talking about the cost of their acceptance of treatment.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. You can also run custom campaigns targeting patients that are either a Care Credit card holder member or are pre-approved. So if you want to go back and talk to your patients that have been proposed at 2740 or 6010 or whatever it might be, I can say, hey, did you know that there's financing available for the treatment that we discussed earlier this week? Click on the link.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome, man. Listen, I didn't mean to get sidetracked here, but I saw the Care Credit
that's exciting.
And I was like, Care Credit integration. What? Let's talk about that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, case acceptance, definitely. I'm like, this is great. All right, let's kind of go back to the insurance verification. Sorry about that.
No. I'm glad you stopped me. It's a great integration that we have that a lot of practices should be using. So once these patients are assigned a status, they'll receive a comprehensive breakdown of their coverage and the services that are provided to that patient based on their coverage. So kind of give you a better overview here. This is an example of some of the information that you might find on the PDF. This is a MetLife example. We have a couple of different examples. So if you want to learn more about specific coverage for a specific carrier, let us know. We can always try to put something together for you, of course. But this PDF will be scanned and saved directly into your Smart Docs or whatever the practice management system is.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that integration, again, you have the option to automatically sync that PDF into the practice management system. But if you want to review it and you want to save it on your own, you certainly can. So a couple different options available to you.
So it gives a lot, man. I mean, everything that, can we just go backwards one more time? Just kind of run through that. So you have the employer information, insurance plan, the group number. Let's see, the claims address, which is great for Delta Dental because there's like a million of them. There's so many Delta Dentals. It's ridiculous. You got the annual max deductible, yeah, this is great. Amount used to date. That's one of the most important things that I need to know. When I'm doing my case presentation, I need to know how much has been used to date so that I can give them an accurate, amount out of pocket. That's one of the key things I always ask for. Let's see here. Then you have the diagnostic procedures and the coverage percentage 80/20. Perfect. 2 years. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I love the way it's all laid out, really detailed information. It gives me everything I need to go ahead and do a case presentation. This is awesome.
No, I love to hear that. Yeah, and what's great about this is that this PDF is standardized, right? So while the information might be different, the format of that information will be the same. So no matter if you're running this for Delta or Cigna or whoever, that format is all going to be the same, making it easier for people to kind of acquire new behaviors because they're not having to shift every time they're looking at a different carrier, which is great.
Yeah, this is cool. All right, cool. Let's check out the next slide.
Sure. Yeah, like I said, every patient will have that assigned status. And there's really not a whole lot that they have to do once that information is given back. Again, it's going to be in the practice management system. So it's really starting with, who's on the schedule, who's verified, who's not, getting that coverage data and allowing it to sync to your practice management software. The form.
That's fast. That's fast. That's awesome. It's like quick, 1, 2, 3.
It's fast and simple. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like this, man. I think you guys have a good thing going. I hope some of our members, if they're in need of this type of software, definitely choose RevenueWell because this seems pretty seamless. Like it seems like a very easily flow that any practice can really just kind of like adapt this into their office. That's cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
of course.
Awesome, man. All right, cool. Well, let's go over one more time. Let's just run through real quick the pricing again.
Oh, sure. So our package that is just the clearinghouse data starts at $129 per month with month-to-month terms. And then if you want to go into our pro version, which includes clearinghouse and direct access to the carrier portals, that starts at $249 per month on a month-to-month term.
Okay, the clearinghouses would be just getting the insurance eligibility and then receiving the breakdowns like we just looked at, right?
Yeah, the only difference is going to be, do I have access to the carrier portals or not?
Got it. Okay, cool. Cool, man. This is awesome. I think you guys have a great product. So, Jeff, just to switch gears here, we are going to, I like to do this little personal touch, I like to call it. And so, our last person that was on that was interviewed by me on the podcast, they were given a question by the previous person on the webinar or the previous person on the podcast, right? So, okay. You know what? That sounds too wordy. Let me just take it out. So, Jeff, we're going to switch gears here, and I have a question for you that was left by our previous guest on the podcast.
All right.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is, off camera, you're going to leave me a question for the next guest.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you ready for the question? So the question is, what would you tell to your 17-year-old younger self today?
Oh, like advice?
Yeah. What advice would you have given to your 17-year-old younger self?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think it would have to, it sticks with, don't get stuck with, the consumerism, don't try to keep up with the Joneses, just make smart financial decisions and invest in things that will make you money instead of things that will, just lose their value over time. So, and I would say probably the advice that I did take when I was 17 years old, who had no idea where I was going to land in life, was, learn something new every day and don't be afraid to try something new.
Cool, man. Yeah, you hit it right on the nose with that. Yeah, I like that because I think that to myself all the time.
Well, sometimes I don't follow the advice I give, but
yeah,
we try.
Yeah, Cool, man. Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you participating in that. And, Jeff, it was great seeing you today. I loved hearing about RevenueWell's new dental insurance verification product. I think it would make a great addition to any dental practice. And I'm not just saying that because you guys sponsor our community. I honestly believe it would. It looks very easy, very user-friendly. And I think the price point is really good too.
Yeah, of course. Right on.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate you having us, Kyle. That you have a great community, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Yes, Jeff. Thanks again, man. And we will talk later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Kyle.
Take care. Bye.